Hi, so this is the video in which we are going to cover the concept of the spherical coordinate system. See, spherical coordinate system is the second floor. The first floor is the cylindrical coordinate system. The half floor is the polar coordinate system, and the ground floor is our rectangular coordinate system. So it is suggested, and I will assume that you have watched my previous video, okay, before watching this, because of course some amount of basics will be required. All this which you are seeing on the screen is covered in the last video. Okay, so I will start directly from this point. So let's start. Okay, let's start. Spherical coordinate system. What is spherical coordinate system? It is also the extension of the polar coordinate system. This is the first thing. In the cylindrical coordinate system, one thing was the best thing, which was height was in the linear sense. Okay, so z coordinate was z coordinate also. In Cartesian also the height is z. In cylindrical coordinate also the height is z. But in spherical coordinate system, height is not straight. It is bulging. For example, let us consider this surface only. You can see the height is in this way. Okay, it is a curved surface. It is a curved surface, so height is not straight. Okay, so first of all, we cannot measure the height directly. You might have heard the concept of longitude and latitude. Of course, this is not in our syllabus, but I have used just here for the reference. Longitude is the distance measured in this way. Of course, this is not the precise definition. I am just giving a feel, and the latitude is the distance. So basically, generally, if we want to calculate the height, we talk in terms of longitude and latitude both, because we cannot talk about the concept of height because it is not linear height, right? It is bulging. So usually we talk about the longitude and latitude. But we will derive our things in the same way we derived for the cylindrical coordinate system. So let's start. So consider a Cartesian coordinate system again. Okay, so this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, and this is my z-axis. Okay. Consider a point in the three-dimensional plane. So if this is the point in three-dimensional plane, it will have three coordinates which are x, y, z. Right? You know, I know, we both know, we discussed in the last video that we cannot make assumptions or we cannot directly solve the three-dimensional system. So we drop a perpendicular on the xy plane. So if I draw a perpendicular on the xy plane, then I will have a point. Okay. Now that point will be in two-dimensional because it is in the xy plane. Okay. So this is my perpendicular. Let us draw this point. Okay. In the cylindrical coordinate system, this distance was r. Okay. But here we have to consider the original distance because the linear height will not the same anyways. Okay. So let me draw the origin to the point, and this is my r. Now here r is the radius of the sphere. Okay. You can see. Again, this was the angle which we had measured in the cylindrical coordinate, and this angle was called as polar angle. Okay, but here we will call this as azimuthal angle. Okay, we will call here it as azimuthal angle. Okay, so basically our one dimension is r. The second dimension is the azimuthal angle theta. Okay, this angle basically theta or phi. We will decide what we should denote it. Now, what will be the third dimension? In polar coordinate system, in cylindrical coordinate system, our third dimension always was the height, because height was linear. But now height is not linear, so it cannot be our third dimension. Instead, our third dimension would also be an angle only. Okay, so this angle starting from z-axis to this point is the third angle, which I name as the polar angle. So these are the sign conventions. These are the name of the constants. Okay, and in these way they are defined for the spherical coordinate system. In mathematics, we write r first, then we write azimuthal angle, which is this, and then we write polar angle. Okay, but in physics we write r first, then we write azimuthal angle, and then we write this thing. We write polar angle. Okay, polar angle, and then we write the azimuthal angle. For example, in some countries we write date of birth first, right? And in some countries we write month first, and then date of birth, and then year. Okay, so in this way, these are the sign conventions. So we will follow this convention only. So in physics, we will write r first, then we will write polar angle, which is this denoted by the theta, and then we will write azimuthal angle, which is denoted by the phi here. Okay, so these are the basic definitions and the basic sign conventions. Draw this diagram in your book first and then proceed ahead because the maths will go on increasing exponentially. So let's start. So this is the r distance. This is the polar angle theta. This is the azimuthal angle phi. In the same way we did in the coordinate, in the cylindrical coordinate system, let us draw a parallel to the y-axis. So this is my parallel to y-axis. So you can clearly see this is a triangle, right? You can clearly see this is a triangle where this is the x coordinate. This is the y coordinate because it is parallel to y-axis. So I can name it as y, and this is my a. This is my 90 degree. The angle between x and y is always 90 degree. And this angle is the phi vector. Okay, which is my azimuthal angle. So azimuthal angle is directly equal to tan inverse of y by x. This is the same thing we did for polar form. This is the same thing we did for cylindrical form. Nothing new. In the same way, a is, I can apply Pythagoras theorem. So I will get a square is equals to the x square plus y square, right? In this triangle, for this triangle. In the same way, if I consider this triangle, okay, if I consider this triangle, so what I can get? If this is my theta, so by alternative angles, this is also my theta. This is my theta, this is my 90 degrees. So where will be the hypotenuse? So hypotenuse itself is r. So hypotenuse is equals to this one side ka square plus second side ka square, which is this thing. Use this value of, use the value of a here. Okay, so what I will get? Let us substitute the value of a here. I will get this thing. So I got the coordinates of the r. So now basically I know r in terms of x, y, z. I know phi in terms of y and z. Okay. Now let us calculate the third thing. For third thing, I have to consider this angle again. Okay. Let us consider this angle again. What I am getting is, let's see, or let us consider this angle now. Okay. So in this angle, what I know, this is theta, right? Theta is defined this way. So this angle is here is theta, right? This is 90 degree. Drop a perpendicular on this line. So this will be 90 degree. So this is 90 degree here, and apply cos of theta. So if I apply cos of theta is adjacent. This is adjacent. Adjacent is where two angles lie. This is my r. R is the hypotenuse here. This opposite to 90 degree. So basically I get the value of cos of theta, and finally I get the value of theta is equals to this. So now I know r, phi, theta in terms of x, y, z. So one part of the lecture is over here. So if in your exam it is given till this, so you can end the video here itself. Now I know the relationship between r, phi, theta and x, y, z. Okay. One part of the lecture is over. So basically now I know the relationship between the both. Now let us find the correlation. Correlation means let us try to calculate x, y, z in terms of r, theta and phi. Previously we have did the inverse. We have find the theta in terms of x, y, z. We have find the phi in terms of y and z. We have find the r in terms of y, x, y, z. So now let us try to find the calculate x, y, z in terms of r, theta and phi. Okay. So what is this line here? Let us read this line. Okay. Let us consider this triangle. Okay, so if this is theta, how can I split the r? R can be split up into two components. One component will be r cos of theta, right? And this component here will be r sin of theta. Can you agree to this? Just see a second. If this is my r vector, this is my one component, this is my other component. Okay. And this angle is theta. So wherever there is theta, that component becomes r cos theta. And where there is no theta, that component becomes r sin of theta. Okay, so this line here is called as r sin theta. And let us name this line as a. Let us name this line as a. This component or this line here is called as r cos of theta. So let us say, as we did in the cylindrical coordinate system, that it is the height. So if this is the height, then this perpendicular is also the height, because height of the object is always the same. So this line here will also become r cos of theta. So this is the step number 1 which we have done. We have resolved the vector r. Now let us resolve this vector. Let us resolve this A vector. Okay. How can I resolve the A vector? If this is my A vector, this is my X component, this is my Y component, and this is my angle phi. So obviously this component will become A cos of phi. This component will become A sin of phi. I am using basic vectors. I hope your basics are clear. Okay. So this is my Y. This is my line parallel to Y. So what this line will become? This will become A sin of phi. This is my x-axis here. What my x-axis will become? X-axis will become A cos of phi. Okay. A cos of phi, this is here is equals to the A sin of phi. But guess what? I already know the value of A. So what is my Y? Y is equals to the A. What is A? A is equals to the R sin of phi. Okay. R sin of theta times sin of phi. So this is my value of Y. What is my X? X is equals to the A cos of phi, but I know the value of A. So A is equals to the R sin of theta times cos of phi. So that's it. That's the value of Y. That's the value of Z. And what is the value of Z? The value of Z is automatically, we find out as R cos of theta. Okay. So, but now I hope you got the point. Okay. I had written the same steps only. First resolve the vector R. Then resolve the vector A. That's it. You will get the directly answer. Okay. So now I know XYZ in terms of R theta phi. I know R theta phi in terms of XYZ. So in this way, we can end this lecture here. That's all about the spherical coordinate which you need to know. Now someone can ask how this is spherical. Okay. How this is spherical? What is the range of these things? So if you again consider this radius vector, if you consider this radius vector and if you revolve, if you rotate it in 360 degrees in all the directions, if you resolve and you rotate it in all the directions, you will get a sphere like this. Okay, you will get a sphere like this. If we talk about the range of these things, okay, what is the range of these things? So R can range from 0 to infinity. Okay. R can range from 0 to infinity. Length of the sphere can be infinite starting from the 0. If we talk about the azimuthal angle can range from 0 to 360 degree. Okay. Azimuthal angle can range from 0 to 360 degree. You can rotate your angle in any way. If you have suppose you want to calculate a point, so you can rotate it in any way in any direction. Okay, you can find that point by taking this anywhere. You can rotate it 360 degree. Talking about theta, you can rotate theta only from 0 to 180 degree. Okay, now someone will say how this can happen? Why you are giving just half access to this? Okay, because it is not needed. Okay, why we are limiting our range of theta to 180 degree? Because it is not needed at all. Okay, what is theta? Theta is the distance from z-axis to this point. Suppose this is my sphere. Okay, this is my sphere. This is my z-axis. Okay, suppose if I want to reach this point, how can you go? One way is to go from this point. Second way is to go from this point. Tell me which is the mature way to reach this point. Sir, someone will say, obviously, sir, this. Okay, fine. Okay. Let us suppose I want to reach this point now. Okay, so what is the way to reach? One way is to reach from this to this, tilting the vector from this to this position. Other way is tilting the vector from this to this position. So tell me which is the mature way. Someone will say, "Arey sir, obviously this, the shortest distance." Okay, so this is the way the things are defined. Okay, if I have defined my range of my polar angle till 180 degrees, so it is worthy, because if I want to reach this point, so I can directly go from here. Okay, so I will have to consider the shortest angle. That is why to not have multiplicity in the coordinate system, I have defined my range of this from 0 to 180 degree. This can go from here to here, because if you imagine in 3-dimensional, you need one vector to reach a point in a sphere. I repeat, if you imagine a sphere in 3-dimensional, you will need one angle to be at a point. You will need one angle. Okay, this is angle, this is one angle with the x-axis. Okay, you will need one angle at least in all the directions, but you will not need the upper angle in all the directions. You just need to be in the shortest direction. So in this way, that was all about the spherical coordinate system. This is the complete lecture series on vector calculus. You will find the link in description. Also, you can find my Telegram group and my other contact details in description. Don't forget to share these videos in your class group. See you in the next video.